Oh.
I'm on the laptop right now next to it. That's why I made sure that I had it.
Hello, everybody. This is Meredith Loughran, and I am the Comic Noob. It is Friday, July 17th, 2020, and I have a room full of people today. Let me just open up the room here, and we're going to go around and let everybody introduce themselves really quickly, and then we're going to get right into it. Let's start with, who do I want to pick? Who do I want to pick? Who's it going to be? Travis Gibb. Oops. I removed him.
Hello, how are you? I am Travis Gibb. That is me. I am a comic creator. I created Broke Down 4 Dead Bodies. Sorry, my son is getting involved. Broke Down 4 Dead Bodies. I do also Voodoo Nations and all sorts of other stuff. Cthulhu Bedzals, all sorts of great stuff. A lot of people know me.
All righty, we're going to go to Luke.
Hi, my name is Luke Stone. I am the writer and artist behind Hybrids of Sons of God. You can see some pictures right back there. I'm also the artist behind Voodoo Nations, live on Kickstarter right now. And I work with a company called TERRAFORM Comics. So check them out at terraformcomics.com and join the mailing list. Thank you.
And Joe.
I'm Joseph Dewis. I'm a writer of one of the stories in the Advocator Presents. And I'm also the publisher of Heresy Studios, a lot of horror comics, Heresy Studios, LLC.com.
And you've got a visitor in the background there. All right, Ben, here we go.
Hey, I'm Ben Lacey. I am the writer and artist of Shark of War. First issue is out. Second issue will be out in about a month. And I also have a story in the upcoming Advocator from the Shark of War universe.
Excellent. Jonathan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan Hedrick. I'm the writer and creator of Freak Show Princess. Also Capable, which is going to have the side story in the Advocator. And also have a book coming out later this year from Scout Comics called The Recount.
And finally, Mr. Rob Anderson. Get yourself off of mute there, Mr. Rob Anderson.
Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the Devilish Comics creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales. He creates books about fetish, monsters, and more, and offers free spanks and hugs. He also teaches morals with farts. Check out the Comics Devil by going to MrAnderson.com.
Mr. Rob Anderson.
Good enough, Meredith.
You were getting all fancy on us. All right, so I just wanted to do a couple of quick bullet points right now, and then I want to pass the baton to talk about the Advocator. And so really quickly, some of the bullet points that I had was I want to touch base, and hopefully people aren't completely exhausted about IndieVent, hashtag IndieVent, INDEEVENT, that happened this past weekend. I thought it was a great event. I really enjoyed the fact that a lot of people were bringing their own shows, their own flavor to a broader audience. So, I mean, we were kind of cross-promoting and sharing it out to Geek Insider, Comic Book Advocates, Indie Vault Radio, Rising Tide Publications. Bleeding Fool had a press release out there for us. I think they're going to do a follow-up as soon as I send it to them. Been a little bit busy, guys. And I feel like I haven't been doing a lot as far as noob stuff when it comes to creating my own comic books. That's going to happen. And I just wanted to kind of put it out there that the noob is not going to be forever noob. This is kind of I hate to say it, a gimmick. Is that a bad word? Is a gimmick a bad word?
No, it's not a bad word at all.
Well, because it is like the first steps into getting a comic book created, and eventually I'm going to have one created, and then this one kind of becomes irrelevant. But the idea is to have content that is evergreen, so people can visit later on and maybe learn from some of these conversations that we've had. So just really quickly, I don't want to take up a lot of time with my bullet points because I'd like to get to what you guys are doing with the Advocator. But what are your thoughts as far as growing your network, guys, as far as social media? I know that a lot of people are focused on one area, so they build up Facebook and they ignore all the rest. How do you feel about growing all of them? Thoughts? And raise your hand if you've got something to say. Go ahead, Travis.
So for me, and especially as someone who runs a marketing company, I feel like it's better to be really good at one than be poor at multiple. So focus on one, really get in that community. You should be on all of them, but one should be your primary focus because that's where you're going to get the biggest results.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts on that? As far as growing your network, should you focus on one? Should you do many? All of them? Jonathan, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I think each of them serve a different purpose, and you can get something out of them all, but something not the same results. Where, for example, Instagram, you can't put a link in the comments. You'd have to say link in the bio, and just that one simple extra step or two. It may be asking too much from a casual person that's maybe they saw the cover of your book, but now they're going to have to backtrack a couple of clicks to get to that link, and you've already lost them. Where something like Facebook or Twitter, you can put the link directly to your website or your Kickstarter, and it'll shoot them right to there. So you have to know what the abilities are for those specific platforms to be successful at them, because they all have their own purpose.
And Ben, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, my background, I started on Twitter because I was writing as an author, and there's a pretty big writing community on Twitter, and they'll follow you and you follow them. And so I have a lot of Twitter followers, but what I noticed is you don't get a lot of interaction. People don't see your tweets. They kind of just disappear for the most part. But what I have found Twitter to be useful for is I get new followers. If I ask them to sign up for my newsletter, some of them will. A percentage will. It's not a huge percentage, but some of them will. And for Instagram, I've mainly used it as a way to show my art, because basically an Instagram page is evergreen in terms of you can just easily scroll through it and see all your art posts. But more and more, I've been moving to Facebook because that's been the most effective platform for advertising. That's where most of the comic book community creators I interact with are. So I've gotten much more into Facebook as my primary platform than before.
Honestly, I am an advocate for trying to build up every single one of your networks because to what Jonathan was saying, when you're on Instagram, you might have a certain following there. When you are on LinkedIn, you have a different following there. And I think it's important that you have a presence everywhere. You might not do it well, and each one of them have their little nuances. Again, with Instagram, you can't put links directly into your posts. You have to kind of direct them to your profile. YouTube, a lot of people I see that they're not using hashtags to be easily found with their content, or using the hashtag to talk about a certain event or subject. So I think learning them, but building the presence throughout, because it kind of goes in hand with the networking idea. Network with everybody if you can. Build up your social media wherever you can, because your audience isn't going to be the exact same in each one. My personal opinion. Any final thoughts on that before I get to the next bullet point? Go ahead, Rob.
Well, it's like everyone said. Instagram is for art. Twitter is for Comicsgate. or pre-established groups using your hashtags. YouTube, you can build your own audience with subscribers. That works best. I don't know if hashtags actually work as well on YouTube. Meredith would probably know a little bit better than that. But I find just driving content constantly works, and it slowly helps you build up. I had a YouTube channel with almost 500 people. We had it all taken away from us, and we're slowly rebuilding. It works. Facebook Lives are important. Look, you have to adapt or die. What is working for other creators might work for you. If you're an artist, you have to be on Instagram. If you're a writer, you really should be on Facebook and doing Facebook Lives, getting your word out there, getting your message out there, getting people to support you, subscribe to your email newsletters and your email list. So that's super important. No one mentioned it. That's probably the biggest way to grow your social media. And I used to be against them because I thought the laws were going to stop them. So I lost 3 years of building an email list. Trust me, I pay for it every day.
Wow. That's painful. Okay, so now the next bullet point that I had really quickly is some people, not so much in the comic book industry as far as I can tell, and I'm fairly new into this field, but a lot of authors and other genres don't necessarily like to promote themselves. And so I want to hear your thoughts as far as self-promotion. Is it marketing or is it vanity? Go ahead, Luke.
I think it's totally marketing. I've heard so many people say, my work speaks for itself. Well, there's a lot of work out there, and it can really kind of get lost in the crowd with everything. So I think that you have to speak for your work. A lot of the people that I back and that I support, I back them as creators and individuals just as much as I do their IPs. I've been known to buy books I didn't care as much for because I really like the people that are there. May not be my style or really, the genre that I would normally go after. And sometimes it's very difficult to kind of separate the creator from the work sometimes. So I think that's that's another thing to think about. Get out there, sell yourself, let people know who you are, what you're about, what you're into. And people love positive interactions with the creators. It helps them connect more with the intellectual properties, helps them connect more with the stories, especially if they know kind of who's behind it. And so I think you absolutely have to promote yourself.
Mm-hmm. Any more thoughts as to like self-promotion and vanity? Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, I didn't expect to be first. I thought everyone else would be going ahead of me. Self-promotion is important because if people don't know who you are, how can they invest in you? It's one of those things in life that people have to understand, not necessarily what you stand for. Everyone makes that mistake. They just have to know that you stand. And what that means is that you're a creator, you're creating things, and that you are passionate about what you create. If you can't express that, then you're going to have a hard time, not an impossible time, but a hard time in compelling people to continue to follow and support you. Too many people rely on one factor. The truth is you have to be successful in as many places as you can. If you're just successful in one, like I know people who are successful on Kickstarter, horrible at Comic Cons, and they're not able to reach out into something bigger. They get stuck with a lot of books at home. You have to be able to get into comic book shops. You have to be able to get a distribution model. That's the whole point of TERRAFORM Comics. One of the things that we're really trying to reach out and help other creators is to give a hub to creators that haven't been able to do that type of stuff. So that's what the beautiful idea behind that is. And one final note about self-promotion. I'm horrible about promoting anytime I ask for money. It's just how I was raised. It's really a bad thing. And like you saw, it's easier for me to play a video that I've pre-recorded than it is to actually advocate for myself. It's very hard at times to try to convince people to like you. So you have to be aware of that fact. So do things, interact with people. Be someone who is approachable. Be someone who's willing to have conversations with people, and always open yourself to being able to be listened to and listen to others and have conversations. If you do that, people will start to naturally like you. I have a lot of people to this date who will come to bat for me no matter what, simply because I've always been gentle and kind to them. I'm not always known as kind and gentle, but when you get to know me, I am. And that's part of it. You have to show all the sides of yourself, not just the rough guy who can be on Facebook and get away from trolls and slap people around and be funny and do that, but someone who can actually inspire other people. If you can do that, you'll have a long career.
Cool. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? No? Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years trying to get an agent and become a traditionally published author. And the idea that that I wouldn't have to self-promote. I would just have the publisher do it. But the reality is that there are thousands upon thousands of people that were trying to do the exact same thing. And if you aren't able to sell yourself or promote yourself to a larger audience, it's going to be very hard to break through in that traditional nowadays. You just have to be able to be willing to promote yourself. And I don't like doing it at all. You know, if I had my druthers, I would definitely prefer to have a publisher do the promotion for me, and I just write and draw. But that's not going to happen. So if you're going to be successful in this, you have to be able to promote yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I've always had a hard time kind of being in front of the camera unless I was performing. You know, I was a professional singer at some point. So being in front of people, just a little bit. Being in front of people was never too difficult for me. Promoting myself, however, was always something like, oh no, you know, not me. I should be behind the scenes and stuff. And I'm really good at promoting other people, which kind of segues really nicely into the indie event thing. And I don't want to, again, beat it with a stick or anything like that. But part of the promotion for that, it happened Saturday morning. I launched the second day, and my husband and we were kind of goofing off, and it was just part of our personality. And one of the things that came out of it was the hashtag buttbeard. And, you know, it mystified and it amused so many people. They were like, what the heck is that? And where did it even come from? But that was the thing. I had gotten to a point where I didn't care that I was making fun of myself and some goofy word and things. And it was like, let's turn it into something fun. So if you're seeing that around the internet, it kind of started with this, and it grew into something that, you know, when it catches fire and other people are using it and they're having fun with it, it's like there's no ownership at that point. But I do want to point to Rob Anderson. He took that, he ran with it. You're going to be doing something with Buttbeard, I think. I don't know if I let the cat out of the bag, but I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
I love random challenges. I love when someone comes up with something. I was once told that you couldn't make a story about a farting elephant. You mean the award-winning farting elephant? The project that Kickstarter loves elephant that farts? Is that the one? So when Buttbeard came out, I was like, I want to do something with that. And then I was like, well, I want to do something even more impressive. I want to put Buttbeard in a comic book for kids and get away with it. Get away with it. Because I got a fart. Not one parent's had a problem. Buttbeard? And I know what you're thinking. The guy who's going around with the big poster says free hugs and spanks, creating a character called Buttbeard for a kid's book, it's going to be controversial. Everything I do is controversial. Everything I do. And no, I'm not saying a word about the character. You're just going to have to wait. I want people having hashtags, burn Rob down. He's creating Buttbeard before I announce it. And then when it comes out, you're all going to be like, oh.
I love it. So I think the last point that I wanted to make was with the Comic NEWB. I am not certain that I'm going to stay on this time slot, guys. This might be the last 4 o'clock Friday show. I am thinking about moving it to Monday. Time unknown right now, but Monday seems to be the wide open book. And quite honestly, for me, it doesn't matter when the live stream is. Of course, I would love to have a live audience. Of course, I would love to see comments coming in. But the replay will be there. And that's really kind of my priority, is putting out quality content for you guys to come back to and revisit. And on that note, I think, Rob, I want to pass it over to you to talk about The Advocator and what you guys are doing and why everybody is in here. Oh, before I do that, wait a minute. I wanted to show, I don't want to, look what I got. Jonathan Hedrick is, now I had to cut this open a little bit, and this is in a really nice Gemini box and everything. And I did open this ahead of time because you guys freaking love your painter's tape. I mean, I swear to God, I'm just like, oh my God, look at all this tape.
It's a lifesaver.
But it is really nice because you have double-sided boards here to protect the comic books. Mm-hmm. And so I have Freak Show Princess.
Awesome.
mind. And this is what really impressed me. I supported your Kickstarter and I got Capable, but it's got its own bag here, and I can tell. I think. Well, no, I don't know. It might be the card stock or the cover stock that makes it feel firm. So I didn't even open this. I'm going to do this right now while you guys are here. I said firm. Brian K. Morris is not here, so he cannot take a drink. But
while you're doing that, Meredith, I have to say I got the idea from Travis, and I tested it out a little bit in Freak Show Princesses.
It's got its own bag.
Yeah.
Nice.
I tested it out for Freak Show Princesses Kickstarter for about 10 backers, and then I got a good deal at Sticker Mule for the poly bags that fit the right size like that. So I think I'm going to do that more often because it adds a little bonus to unpacking it. And maybe a collector wants to not unpack it, and then I see them at a con and they want another copy. Who knows?
As long as they remember what's in the damn bag. Right. But I wanted to show the cover. Let me just let me get on bigger screen here and show that. If you wanted to talk a little bit about that cover real quick. And
that cover is the Dominic Perosi variant. He's an artist that's lives over in Palm Bay, which is south of where I live. He's got a little following around here, and I always have him do a variant cover for my self-published books because, like I said, he's got a following. It's helping him, boost his career and his confidence in his artwork. And I threw that idea out to him about doing just no people are in it. It's just showing like the essence of what Capable is all about. It is the potential animosity that someone who has been disabled all their life and then is like thrust into a life with superpowers might do with those superpowers, like destroying a handicapped parking spot. So if we took that idea for issue 2, which is a short bus, which is another common something that's identified with the disabled community, and you see like a laser blast going through it and the smoke rising from it. So I think that's what we're going to try to do with Dominic's variants, is have those staples that are or stereotypes that are connected with the disabled community and twist them around like that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got the Kickstarter. Thank you so much for backing. I appreciate that.
I appreciate the effort that you put into it. And again, this is really cool. I wasn't sure, when I saw it, I was just like, oh man, I don't know if I want to take scissors to it. God forbid I cut it on accident. But this is a really cool idea where it's labeled with the comic book, and it's very, very cool, interesting. And I personally haven't seen it before. That was my first time. But again, I'm the Comic NEWB, and so I'm building up my library and stuff. So I really appreciate. I can't wait to get into it and read through it. Okay, Rob. So I gushed a little bit, and I did my package reveal. So I'm going to give it to you and the Advocator, and let you guys do what it is that you do.
And we lost someone. I swear that was not my fault. I did not kick anyone out. Ben, come back.
I think he's having.
I think his war shark got him. We're going to send out the boats to get Ben back. He'll be back in a minute. All right. So what is the Advocator? I always say the Advocator is the poo-poo platter of indie comics. What does that mean? Well, normally we give everyone 4 pages to show their universes off and entice people to go to get their bigger collections of work. But this time around, and I'll tag Travis in. He's looking like a deer in headlights. There he goes.
Is this mic on? Damn it!
No, I can't hear you. Speak louder.
This year, what we decided to do for Advocator 2020, we switched up the whole thing. The Advocator is all about growth and development. So normally we'd have 6 stories, 4 pages each. This year we broke the walls off of that. We have a 42-page book, and it's all heroic tales. So we've grabbed some of the greatest indie books that came out last year on Kickstarter, and this year in Kickstarter, put them all together in a wonderful book called the Heroic Edition. And 3 of those creators are right here.
We're just going to put Ben back in the room. So let's see it. This is a private preview.
Well, why
So
don't you have
no
them
one
introduce who they are and their story in it?
Well, I just want no one taking screenshots. And I'm going to reveal the cover, and then we're going to go one by one by who
okay,
the
and remember, so this cover's a work in progress. John, your stuff didn't get fixed because of a storm, just so you're aware.
Yeah, I had internet issues and power issues. We are fixed. Like, this is the first, and anyone who's back the Advocator, you know, we always put out the first one, and we fine-tune it as the campaign goes. This is just meant to go around the room, so we're going to go around and tell you all the people who are here. So here is the book, and we'll go around the room one by one in order. And I guess we'll start with Luke Stone on the far right. Let me get rid of my feedback.
Well, why don't you
here.
scroll down to his section, and you can leave his section.
I'm going to. Relax. Calm down. All right, Luke, we're going to put you on the screen. Introduce yourself.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm Luke Stone. I'm the writer and the artist behind Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. It has the first full arc just finished up this year, the Trash Day arc, and we're working on the second one. And this little piece that's going in the Advocator, it's kind of like one of those really cool Marvel post-credit scenes. So we're pretty excited about it. These 4 pages, we worked really hard on that with Chuck Pino. He actually is he got co-writer credits on this one, and we are really hitting the action hard in 4 pages and giving a lot of information that's going to be leading us into the next arc that takes place. We should be kickstarting that towards the end of the year, and it's cool.
And then we have next up on the docket, we'll just go by this way, Shark of War. Calling Ben.
Hey, Ben Lacey. Yeah, this is from Shark of War. And just a little background. Shark of War is basically Jaws if the shark were the hero, and RoboCop if the cop were a shark. This basically is an untold story from the middle of the first issue where he's been called in for his first mission for the U.S. Navy. A commercial airline has gone down in the Gulf of Mexico. They can't find it, so they call in the Shark of War. It's a very dark and humorous story, 5 pages plus the cover art that I think people who've read Shark of War or who haven't read Shark of War will find pretty entertaining.
All right, I'm up. Capable. So Capable tells a story of about how one day everyone around the world who has a disability wakes up with a superpower that's opposite of what their handicap was. 2 issues are out for Capable, and the short story that's going to be within the Advocator runs concurrently with the events that take place in issue 1. The main character of the short story, Harry, is the main character of the main titles, is his best friend, Derek Davidson. So we see what Derek does in issue 1 when he gains his superpowers. And in this short story, we see what Harry does during that time. So they run concurrently with each other. You can read either one of them first, but you should definitely read both of them.
Okay, are you going to introduce me? All right. I'm Joseph Dewis. The artist for our story is David Jackson, and the colorist is Jerome Rapaja. So last year we put out this comic, Super Heresies. It's a collection of short stories about public domain superheroes from the 1940s, exploring themes of existentialism. And we wanted it to really look like a comic from 1950 when it takes place. So it's black colored, and we put a halftone filter over it to make it look like it's a Golden Age comic. And the story is about Dash Dartwell, who was a guy who takes pills and gets super speed. And his story was supposed to go in the Super Heresies book, and it didn't quite make it. So decided to put it in here at 6 pages. It's about him traveling back in time to kidnap himself as a baby. So we kind of get into the whole ideas about predestination and paradoxes and that sort of thing. The comic is Super Heresies, and we are in the process of doing a second like a Super Heresies showcase. So back to you.
All right, sorry. I was having mic issues. I was actually announcing everybody, and
Oh,
no one
sorry.
heard me.
I had my mic thing. You want me to do it?
If you don't mind, yeah, just while I make sure everything's okay on my end. We had a flicker of power a minute ago.
Yeah, if you could just scroll down a little bit so I can make sure I get his last name right. Yeah, Brian Menard, I think that sounds right. He's got Primordial Tales, so this is a superhero like old-fashioned Kung Fu, Iron Fist, anything like that. It's a really cool little story. Believe it or not, this guy has his books called Hojo Dungeon Comics, and he has actually like 10 or 12 titles that go on, and this is just one little short story, and it's about 8 pages. It's about a wonderful guy who called Viskin the Sorcerer who meets Dr. Primordial, and they're in this war over this particular sword. So that's kind of what it is. That's a third superhero. But what's really cool about everyone who's in here, everyone's had successful Kickstarters. They've all done stuff, and these are all really cool stories of insights into their world. They're all connected to bigger things, If you liked Capable, you can buy 1 and 2. If you like Shark, you can buy number 1. If you like superhero, if you like Dash's story, you can read Super Heresies. And if you like Luke Stone's Hybrid, you have a graphic novel butt ton of stuff that you can read. So we got a great collection for the class of 2020 to start us out. We're really excited to get it out there. We just said the minute we get off this thing, I'm going to send it for approval to start the approval process for Kickstarter so we can launch very, very soon. But yeah, this is kind of the team that we've got going. What's the other thing to note as well is for 2019, we really kept me, Chuck, or Rob were in the book to kind of make sure that it got to the next level. In this book, we are not the primary stuff. Chuck does co-write Luke Stone's story, but it is Luke's universe. So that's really, really cool. I'm really excited to get it. We're happy to have Joseph back. Joseph you did 2 of the Kickstarters. Or did you all were you in 2 of them? Joseph did 2 last year. Had a great story in it. He was the only story that went between the 2. So we're really excited. I know Jonathan Hendrick's been working on his for a long time. Ben messaged me, hey, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? These people are super excited to get this out to you. Advocator has always been a great brand, something we're really excited about. So glad to have you guys there and glad to see you this year.
I'm super excited to have it in there.
Yeah.
This is me super excited.
Thank you. Definitely.
So is there anything else you guys want to talk about on the Advocator? Like, why you chose it or anything? We got a little bit of time to fill. What are you excited about? Do you guys think that this will help you guys' brand, moving forward? What are you guys thinking for those who are new?
I'll say anytime you get a chance to not only share your story in front of someone else's audience, but bring other people's stories in front of your audience, it's a good opportunity. I know that I'm excited about having my readers, the people that back hybrids and other stuff that I do, take a look at all of the stuff that's going to be in this Advocator, and hopefully everyone feels the same way. But I think it only stands to increase our reach and our influence with the fans when we do something like this. I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm excited to have my stuff next to everybody else's intellectual properties on there.
Yeah, I mean the great thing about the previous Advocators. The great thing about previous Advocators to me was, you're reading a 4-page story and it's completely new. It's not just like a piece of something, but it's connected to another IP. Like I know when I read the Advocator previously, and I read one of the stories in there, and then I was like, this is pretty good, and I just bought all the issues of it. So that's the idea, just to kind of get it out there. And it's an original story, but at the same time, it's connected to a larger series.
Yeah,
Now-
you know, I was just going to say, in my case, these 4 pages are vital to the story. So any of my readers are going to have to go with these 4 pages to understand the next arc.
Now, I do want to just quickly address something, and it was flashed on the screen, not to interrupt. This is not what we were originally going to release at this time of the year. I don't want anyone being confused. We did cancel a different Advocator project. We don't want to get into it on the why. I just want to be clear. They are not part of a combined group. They are not a publisher. This is not the same project we were talking about a few months ago. These are all individual creators from all different individual groups. That's it. I just wanted to make sure there was no confusion, because I did also, while we were scrolling, see that the announcement was still on our page. So I took care of that. Every one of them, and credit to Jonathan. Jonathan's heading the Scout this year. For those who don't know, that was announced. Big news. Very excited for him.
Thank you.
Each one of these gentlemen have created their own brands. They are coming together within the pages of the Advocator, showing the power of the Advocator. This was not a crossover from a different publisher. I just wanted to make sure that we stressed that before anyone got confused. Ben, so why did you want to come to the Advocator?
Well, originally I was really excited about the fact that I only had 1 comic book, and after this I would have 2 comic books, which would be really handy at conventions. Of course, the conventions aren't happening, so I won't be having to sell at the conventions. But I'm hoping my next Kickstarter, which probably be soon after this ends, will get a good push from this. Plus, I'll have more stuff to give away in my own Kickstarter.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you are doing virgin covers? Now, we're very known for our virgin covers here at the Advocator. Who's going to have a virgin cover, and does anyone have a virgin cover that they could kind of tease or show or explain? I know, Jonathan, wasn't there talk about you having a virgin cover? Aren't we going to see one from you?
He has one.
Yeah, I can provide a virgin cover.
You have one.
Yeah. Basically, Jerome he put the trade dress on it, but we can just take those layers off, or just I can send you the TIFF of the colored.
Rob, scroll down. I have his in there to the bottom.
Yeah, it's the one with him with the crutches.
Yeah,
and the shadow with the
go
cape.
to the Advocator page, the preview. If you didn't lose it.
In the upper left-hand corner, that'll be the virgin cover, which reflects the the issue 1 of Capable, where Derek is in the wheelchair and his shadow has the cape behind him.
That is going to be super cool. That'll be one that I actually look for.
I think I gave you a virgin cover.
Yeah, yours is in there as well. I've got everyone here has a virgin cover. Joseph's working on his. He needs us to send the file because he's got that really good idea.
I'll ask you later. The basic idea of a virgin cover, for those who don't know, it's minus the trade dress. So you wouldn't see the Advocator on top of it. It should never say on the cover Advocator. It should just be the art. And it shouldn't even say Capable. It should just be there, because we don't want to put a name on the book and then people get confused about what the book is. So it's literally meant to be a virgin cover. So when you turn on the inside, you'll see usually what we do is we have on the cover, we have the credits page that announces everything. And then you'll see the first story, and we do an internal cover, but we also put on that internal cover for them who is behind it, the website you can follow them to continue the adventures. And then it'll probably be just like for Jonathan, it'll probably be your virgin cover, which isn't a bad thing, but then people will be able to buy the virgin cover on the outside. Remember, we have those nice slick covers that we get from Comics Impressions. Very proud to be teaming up with them. So that's going to look really good, Jonathan. And I'm a huge fan of what you do. A lot of people know this. I am forever crippled, but I love the idea of someone finally talking about those, because and I'm talking years ago. One of my favorite characters used to be from New Warriors, not the New Warriors you're all hearing about recently. I stress this. This is back in the 90s, the New Warriors that had Thrasher. And that team actually had a character, Silhouette, I believe is her name. My mind is getting old, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. I loved her. And she was actually just like your character. She used the canes as actual sticks to fight. I thought she was one of the most badass characters I'd ever seen. So kudos to you to exploring the idea and
Thank
actually
you.
doing it. So
I appreciate that, Rob.
I appreciate it. Now, Ben, big moment. Shark Week's coming. Shark event. We're going to Kickstarter when that's on there. Do you plan to watch Shark Week? Are you like the Shark Week fan? Are you going to be all about Shark event? I'm not sure Ben can hear me.
He's muted. Ben. Can you hear us, Ben? Ben.
Use the force, Ben.
Yeah, Ben is definitely going to be a part of Shark Week, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think the internet sharks are messing with him today. It's a problem. I'm having issues too. It's why we want to get out of the 4 o'clock hour, to be honest with everyone.
But yeah, so this one took us a long time to get Advocator 2020 out to you guys. It's not that we haven't been working on it, it's just that we had the thing with that other company, and then this was wrapping up. But we're super excited about this. We feel that we've got some really great creators here. We're super excited to have all these new creators be part of it. And we're excited to get this out again. The reason why we created the Advocator was to help get things at the table. This will help John have 3 issues of Capable on a table, which is really good. It'll help Hybrids have a 17th book, which is great. It's really important. Hybrids have a 17th book. So people who like heresies, Super Heresies, they have nothing else. So this gives them one extra story. And from what I understand, Joseph, this was a story that was supposed to be part of the Kickstarter, but was delayed for whatever reason.
Yeah. The art took a little bit longer than we thought, so it's kind of the lost story from Super Heresies. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. So we're getting a lost tale, which I think is really cool. Ben, we are on. I don't know why you can't hear us, but we are on. So, but yeah, we're really excited about this year, about this team, and we're gonna, once this is up, we're gonna get the next one. Like I said, we're gonna submit it to Kickstarter so we can get approved to go launch whenever we want. We're gonna make sure the team approves all the pictures and images before we go live, and then we'll get it going. One of the things that Rob didn't tell, because we haven't talked about it in a long time, is we don't make anything of this. Rob and I do not make a dime. Rob, me, and Chuck, who put together the Advocate, we don't make a dime. None of these creators make a dime. They just get copies of the comic book. The goal is to just get them things to sell, to help them be able to make the next book. Our goal is that, you can get this done. You can get it cheap. You'll have a wonderful book that you can do. And all these creators can print them up if they need extra copies for their Kickstarter, for whatever they want.
Absolutely. And even though Chuck can't be with us today, he's always here with us in spirit. He's just such a great guy in the background. And to the entire team that never gets credit, Travis doesn't get enough credit for bringing these together every 3 to 6 months. We have a new team ready to go. Like he said, the other project actually stalled us. And then when that fell apart, because we were supposed to go months ago, but they stalled us. And then when that fell apart, Travis was like, well, we can go. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so this is why you're seeing this. This wasn't supposed to come out until fall. So this now that's why we're not doing seasons anymore. We want to give you stuff. And let's be honest, this has been a challenging year. And even this program, we're having some issues with the internet. So I just blame 2020. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room. We're going to say good night to everyone. Tell them where they can find you guys. And then I want Luke and Travis to stay to the very end because I want to talk to them about something. So we'll go around the room, pull you up. Ben, if you can, back out and come back in so you can say goodbye. So we'll go around the room. When you see your picture, tell people where they can follow you.
Hey, thanks for having me on. You can follow me at heresystudiosllc.com, the Facebook page, Heresy Studios LLC. I'm on Twitter at Heresy Studios LL and Instagram at Heresy Studios LLC Comics.
Muted.
Jonathan.
Got it. Thanks. Sorry about that. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Jonathan Hedrick. Just search me my name and it'll pop up. Promise you. Thank you. Now you're muted, Rob.
Now it's my turn. Ben, I don't know where you are. We love you, Ben. Hopefully you can come back in and say goodnight. Joseph Duas, Jonathan, you guys are free. You guys are free to go if you have somewhere else to be. We're going to wrap up because I want to talk to these two about their Kickstarter. And Ben is trying to get in the room. We'll see how that is. Jonathan, thank you. Joseph, thank you for being part of this.
Thanks, everyone. Good to see you.
All right. I don't know if Ben is going to come. Ben, use the force. That's all I can say, Ben. Use the force. We're pulling for you, brother. I did want
to talk about hybrids first before we talk about anything else.
Is this your show? It's not even my show, actually, to be fair. It's not even my Meredith's in the back.
I haven't seen Meredith in tons of time. Where's Meredith? Is she around?
She's back working, man. She's always working.
She got a cup of coffee, and she's like, you guys got this.
Yeah, she's like, you guys are talking about the Advocator and stuff, and we do apologize. I hate when there's internet issues. We obviously don't want those interruptions and gaps to you guys watching at home. I do apologize. You guys can see that I'm in the devil's room right now, so we're going to change some background. Yeah, Luke, talk to me as Jax goes crazy. Jax.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, so the hybrids story, this cover right here is really cool. This is going to be my virgin cover. It's never been touched, never been kissed. But so it's actually never been used for anything, but it was supposed to be used for a connected cover with some other connected IPs and stories from my old publisher. And it's something that I paid for, and actually it was drawn by Brian Dawson, who does my layouts, my interior layouts. And so he did this cover, and I've always kind of wanted to use it. I think he did a great job on it. Looks really cool. And so it was wasted money because we weren't using it. And so when they said, hey, would you like a virgin cover? And I'm like, yes, I would. I'm excited to finally use this and for people to finally see it. It actually has nothing to do with the story on the inside, but it's still cool. So I think it'll be a fun thing to have out there on the table. But yeah, so this Advocator, man, I was really upset when the other thing fell through, because I worked really, really hard with Chuck, and I probably spent like 2 or 3 hours working on the script after it was drafted to get through and kind of really refine it. And it's a good story. I mean, it's not just because, I wrote it, but it's a good story, and I'm ready for people to see it.
I love the art behind this. It's got good energy. That's another one. And we do offer all the covers as collector packages. You guys are going to be able to get all these amazing covers. I'm super excited about it. We obviously will talk more. Hopefully, we won't be having so many internet issues when we launch. A tentative release date, we're thinking within the next 2 weeks. Stay tuned, right, Travis?
Yeah, our goal is the 27th.
So 27th, mark it and calendar.
I'm going to submit it. So assuming that they don't take a long time, the rough draft is already done. We just need everyone to approve it, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, and now I do notice that I do want you all to. We want to admit there's only 5 people in this book. Normally there's 6. We might have a stretch goal. So you guys getting us to the goal this time will really matter, because if you get this to a stretch goal, we have a surprise for you, don't we, Travis? But we can't talk about that yet. We can't talk about that yet. But you get us to the goal real fast, and you guys are going to find out there might be more stories coming. So with that in mind, speaking of other stories, why don't we talk about, while we close up the show today, this other story that's got people talking on the internet, in the interwebs.
People is talking about this book here.
I don't know if is that me? Is that how I said in your head? Luke? Luke, is that it?
In my head, that's how Rob sounds.
I'll take it.
People's talking about this book. You should check it out.
It's like a hot dog. You want to get it and eat it right away.
No, what's happened is I've been reading some scripts from Brian K. Morris about, some 1930s like pulp stuff. So like that accent's in my head now.
Well, you better get smart, not wise. So let's play quick starter pause. So here's the game, guys. We're going to watch the video until we get bored.
I'm bored already.
Let's see how long we can last. I'm sure it's a minute video. It couldn't be. Oh, it's 10 minutes.
Welcome to the Voodoo Nation's Kickstarter. We wanted to talk to you guys quickly about our project. I am joined here with Luke Stone And let's talk about it. Luke, you may want to take that Voodoo Nations down. I know it's an exciting logo.
It was in front of It was in front of our faces. No one could see us. All they could see was Voodoo Nations. And that's
right. It was exciting.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we are the writer and the artist team. In a rare thing, both of us are together promoting the Kickstarter. This is rare in a Kickstarter world.
It is rare. It's rare that the artist and writer actually work together, like kind of like co-creator of stuff these days too.
Right, exactly. So we came up with this concept. I sent it to Luke a long time ago. It's called Voodoo Nations. What it is about two missionaries. They go to Brazil and they get really hell deep. Hell deep? That's a good word. I like that word.
Yeah.
They get deep into the voodoo culture and the Voodoo Nations. So it's basically a religious clash between Christianity and voodoo and the differences between the two.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool because it's written from kind of the standpoint and the viewpoint of a couple of Christians, actually. So not that this is like one of those like Christian books that's in your face or anything, because it's by far, it's not that at all. But we do have some contextual understanding of the subject matter. So it really works.
Yeah, and we're writing modern day ministries. So modern day they're very cool people, heavy tattooed, heavy thing. It's not your mom and pop stuff. And if anybody knows me from Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies, or for him from Hybrid, you know that we do things very, very different than what you expect from us, right? I'm a lot of action, lots of stuff. But this book is really, really cool. It's a 4-issue mini, and we're going to be world trekking. So we're starting off from Brazil, then we're going to go to New Orleans, we're going to go to Mexico. We want to get you on the ground floor. So first, let's show you some of the really cool covers that we have for this book. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start out with the standard cover here.
Yeah, it's standard cover. Luke created that one. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was actually in response to, we had started out with with the day-night covers.
Yeah.
So this is my first idea your idea for a cover was to do Bishop Lucas on top of the Christ the Redeemer. And
that's not, so for those who don't know, I think most people know, but if you don't, Christ the Redeemer is a giant statue. I think it's like 25, 50 stories, something like that. 30, something huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I wanted to have something where this mockery of Christianity, because Bishop Lucas, the name Bishop we're not going to spoil it for you, but Bishop is not a normal voodoo term. There's a reason why he has that Christian. Bishop is used in Christianity, why he has that term. It's kind of cool, and you'll see that. But we have a day-night cover that Luke's showing you. Both variants can be getting the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this beautiful cover.
Oh, yeah, that is Staniak cover. Staniak, that is a must-have. If anybody knows Staniak, we love this cover. This is our favorite. We have this in standard and virgin. All sorts of really cool stuff in this Kickstarter. We love it. We're going to show you some of the interior pages in just a second. But the reason this book is not only normal, it's huge. It's a 30-page book. 30 pages of story in this book. So, in the standard cover.
All right, guys. I feel like you both could do better live right now. So, what can you tell us that didn't tell us? And how, the experience is going great. You guys are so close to 100 backers. We're going to drop the link right now so everyone can get their copy immediately, because this is one of those books you're going to want to get. And I'm putting it in now. Please tell us what didn't that capture? Because obviously that video had a lot of information. Give us something to tease us with.
2 young missionaries have their world turned upside down by a diabolically wicked voodoo priest named Bishop Lucas. You can find out all about it in this 4-issue miniseries that treks the entire world. So this is going to be awesome.
And you guys have a different story, like a mini story. Am I right about that?
Yeah, we have a backup story by Sebastian. He can't think of his last name right now. I don't know why, but Sebastian used to do comics pretty heavily in the 2000s. Hasn't done something in a while and just came back, and we have him doing a backup story. It's a 3-page backup, which is pretty exciting. Him and Elias Gambit is his name. Did some really, really cool stuff on our backup story.
And these will all be shipped out using Gemini mailers. So you guys, not playing games. You guys are going to get everything safely. Travis has a proven track record, as does Luke have a proven track record of delivering what is crowdfunded. So I would say the risk on one of these is extremely low. I mean, it's pandemic. You know, pandemic season, we all know things have been crazy. There might be a delay that they won't be able to handle, but I think that's it. I know Luke said he was done with the art. The preliminary art is basically done. You guys are just finishing up the lettering, and you have to wait on one page, though. There's just one page that is problematic for some reason, right?
Yeah. So I can't draw it because I can't see the future. And so the only way that I can draw it is once future backers back a tier that allows them to be drawn into the comic. And so we have one person who has claimed one of those frames already. And so we have 5 more available. And so we need 5 more people to back at that tier so they can have their face drawn in that particular section right there. So.
I want to address a comment from Meredith, who's in the background, probably snickering. She said, "When I hear missionary, I'm thinking anything but religion. Sorry, not sorry."
I want credit. I want credit. This is the second time I've been interviewing you guys about this book. I have not made that joke. I just want my credit.
So one of the things that someone asked me today in an interview, they were like, "Are you worried about religion? You know, because religion in comic books is kind of rare, or religion in everything. It kind of scares people in their tracks." I think we talked about this the other day with Rob. I want to point out the Exorcist is a story based on religion as well, and it's very, very different. So just because something's based on religion doesn't mean you have to worry about it, or doesn't mean it's not entertaining.
Very true.
And remember, you don't have to be a serial killer to enjoy serial killer books and horror books. I never understand that. Something that's well written, and I said that to them the other day when I was doing the interview. I said, I'm usually not into it, but for some reason, the minute you sprinkle voodoo, I'm all about it. I'm not a horror person, but there's just something mystical about voodoo. And I'm a spiritual person, and Luke, I think, can best describe why a lot of the religious books have not worked up until now.
I can, yeah, because they're corny and stupid. The problem with it is, okay, I mean, that's really mean. I apologize to all of my Christian friends out there, but a big problem with Christian fiction is that it becomes really hokey, and really it's a question of who you're writing who's your audience. So a lot of times they will write Christian books, but they'll just kind of keep talking about the gospel message. So it'll kind of be like a 24-page track, and it's full of crosses and Christian jargon and things like that, which is all well and good. But unfortunately, they're trying to market it to an audience that needs to hear the gospel message when they don't need to hear the gospel, when it's actually being marketed to a group who's already heard and accepted the gospel message. So that's why they kind of come off kind of unrealistic and a little cheesy, and oftentimes, they just don't settle well. It's just not quite right. And so what Travis and I are doing, we're writing this book we both have a Christian worldview. So we're writing this book from kind of a Christian worldview. So we have some understanding of the subject matter. And as it's being presented, like, this is a story about 2 people who want to do the right thing because of their faith. And they encounter someone that just completely decimates them in every aspect of their life. And who, in some cases, looks like a good guy to a lot of people. And so
he also wants to do the right thing for his people. For people, just in a very, very different way and with different results.
Yeah, and with an underlying different motive, Yeah. So this is going to be a story that I think anyone can get into, whether you are a believer, whether you're a non-believer, whether you like voodoo, whether you don't like voodoo. This is a psychological thriller that's going to culminate in some really good action, but also a lot of mystery and suspense that the reader's going to be going through. And so it's the first book that I've ever done like this. Normally I do punchy books, like there's going to be punching and blowing up. There's at least one explosion in every book that I typically write. So this is way different.
Well, we have
28
more days for you guys to back it. Please join it. I want to thank everyone from the Advocator Heroic Edition for coming on the show today. I want to thank Travis Gibb for being here and also bringing us Voodoo Nation's book tearing it up. Help them get funded so you can start talking about stretch goals. My boy Travis, he's always about the stretch goals. He's got some great stuff just lined up and ready for you. Help him get there immediately. By Monday, let's be talking about stretch goals. And let's see if they're going to be little voodoo dolls. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping there's voodoo dolls, especially of Travis. We're going to go ahead and we're going to head out. But before
that sounds crazy.
I know. Before we head out, we're going to bring in Meredith again. Hi, Meredith. And
Hi, Meredith.
Travis, we're just going to put you in the back room, but we're going to hang out with you for a few minutes after the show. So we're going to be talking about the advocating hour. So, Travis, tell them where they can find you. I totally forgot to let you say goodbye.
Yes, you can find me at brokedown4deadbodies.com. You can find me at voodoonations.com. You can find me at Facebook, but just by typing my name, Travis Gibb. You can definitely find me on the Voodoo Nations Kickstarter. I am refreshing it every 2 minutes, and I would like to stop that. So please help me out. Get us to 50%. Get us to 100%. Help us out.
And shout out to Richard Boy, who is our printer for the Advocator. And are they going to be your printer for the Voodoo Nations?
Of course.
Yes.
There you go. And let's give them some love. Comics Impressions right now. Show them off. Great company. Honestly, I'm not just saying that because he's local. If he was far away or if I move, I will still use Comic Impressions. I like the cover for any of you guys who have gotten an Advocator, or I believe Broke Down, right? Broke Down has had that.
Yeah, all Broke Down, except for issue 1, has always been through Comics Impressions.
Yeah, so we're gonna show you their website real quick on our way out, and we don't talk about them enough because we're rude. I'm sorry, Richard. We should talk a lot more about what you do because you do amazing stuff. And I will be adding you into the rotation. And I swear I pressed the button for my screen share, and it's just not working well because today's that show. Every so often you just have one of those shows. There we go. Here's Comics Impressions. Go to Google, type in Comics Impressions, and see the amazing work that they do. They print comics in all shapes and sizes. Really cool, awesome work. They do a lot with Scout Comics. One day I hope my book will be represented there. Cat Dad would be nice there. Do a great job, great colors. They do amazing work, and they were established in 1985, so they didn't just pop up yesterday. They've been around for a good time.
We're trying to work out a relationship for TerraForm Comics, aren't we?
Yes. Yes, we would absolutely love TerraForm for them to be the official printer of TerraForm as well. Of course, I'm pushing for that because I love the work they do. And Ben says, thanks, sounds great. Ben couldn't say goodbye. Please put where you could follow. We could follow you, Ben, in the comments. All right, Travis, we're going to let you out of the room, so we want to talk about the 4 o'clock hour and exactly what's going on the Comic NEWB, because even Luke has some big news about it. So we'll be with you in a minute. Or if you have to go, Travis, go ahead. You don't have to wait for us to say goodbye. Thank you for being on the show today, my friend. All right, we're gonna have him head out. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. So, Luke, I guess start with you. What's going on with Nuts and Bolts?
Yeah, Nuts and Bolts. We're gonna turn that into a little 10-minute segment where we do kind of tutorial things, because I've had a lot of questions about like, well, how do you really do that stuff? So I'm gonna like really break it down to like 10-minute tutorials on how to do a specific skill or a specific function or feature with a particular piece of software. Let's say it's going to be making word bubbles in Photoshop, and then it's going to be making word bubbles in Clip Studio. So we're going to break it down to that, so we have some like what Meredith said earlier, some evergreen material that people can get. And so we're just going to do those. We're going to do those and try to premiere those each week on YouTube and share that on Facebook. So that's really what we're going to be doing with those. Occasionally we will do a live Q&A like what we did for the indie event, where we just open it up for questions. Hey, if you got a question, ask it here. This is the place to do it. And so we will schedule those events occasionally, maybe once a month or so, and advertise those so people can come by, ask their questions, or even pre-ask their questions so we can have some information for them if they need them. So that's really kind of what's going to happen with Comics Nuts and Bolts. So it's not going to be that 4 o'clock live event. It's going to kind of take on a new kind of a la carte, consume as you like format.
And some of the other changes, not only with Luke's show, but with Meredith moving off of Fridays. 4 p.m. is very hard in Florida. We originally chose it because we were in a pandemic. I never liked 4 o'clock. It worked for the people who had kids at school, at their house. Everyone had to do the school day till 3 o'clock. A lot of people did get to tune in. It was a good time, but things are different now. We're not normal. We're far from normal, but we're something. And that something's just not seeing the viewership at 4 p.m. And we expected this day to come. And in Florida at 4 p.m., as you saw today, we struggle with lightning storms, thunderstorms, all until about September. We are going to be struggling with inclement weather, or whatever, however you say that. We're going to have a lot of problems. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to have a lot of those problems. So it just makes sense because all three of us on the screen right now live in Florida. Travis lives in Florida. We don't want to be alive at 4 p.m. and be struggling. We don't want to have Ben because we don't know. It could be.
I do want to be alive at 4 p.m.
Live, not alive. Live.
You said alive.
I meant live. But keep pushing.
Sorry.
We're all in the making.
The nice guy in the room. I just want to point out he's supposed to be the nice guy in the room.
I'm supposed to be. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
So, yeah, no, we do want to move off of the 4 p.m. block. So all of our shows are going to get different times now. We're going to go back to normal life. The advocating hour was a great idea when we were stuck at home. I think it's a better idea to put it where it works. Meredith's going to find out where she's going to work. I am joining Geek Insider with Comic Book Advocates, so I have to be mindful of their show times as well. We want to work where it works for everybody, if that makes sense. We're still supporting each other. The Advocating Network's not going away. Just you guys weren't tuning in at 4 p.m. We respond to your feedback. So the news programs will be going to 11 a.m. And for my fans of the show that have been here for years, you remember it started at 11. It's going back to 11, just like I promised. For a while, we put it on the shelf to do panels. So that will return at 11 on the T's. So news at 11 at the T's. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m., you'll be able to get the news. And 11 a.m. works for those at work. They can listen to it on their way home, and it gets more viewership. That's why we're doing it. The Kickstarter, we're having trouble with Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You guys aren't launching them as much. We don't have as many to cover. I looked back this week, a year ago. We had something around, I think it was 16 or 17 Kickstarters in 1 week. This week, our show featured 5. I know Facebook's been messed up. I know there are a couple people who are live who haven't asked for our help. But even Kickstarter itself is saying the number is down. Travis looked and he saw the numbers down. This is really happening. There just aren't as many comic books being Kickstarted. We're going to figure out what that show looks like. We will be doing the thing that Luke and Travis were helping me try to do last night, the elevator pitch. But I think that's going to be a special like Luke's show. Because every so often it's nice to have a special show that just pops up, that doesn't get scheduled every week. And with that in mind, the Devil's Due will not have a certain day or time. The reason I'm not doing a date or time is because I'm a single dad. You guys hear Jax in the background. If I'm doing an assessment that's supposed to be professionally done, I can't have Jax running around the background. I want to do it when I have the amount of time I do. And then honestly, there's 2 times a month his mother comes to pick him up for 24 hours. So I'm going to have to try to fit it in those days from now on. And it's hard enough because those days are all compacted. So if I can get like a 15-minute window to do a quick assessment because Jax is with his aunt who lives with us, I'm going to do it then. Having it scheduled is almost near impossible. So that's on my end. So we're committed to still do the programs. We're just trying to make them so you guys can feature them. Be part of them. Not feature, but like be featured on them by being at a time when you guys can reach us. And the Kickstarter, I don't know if you guys want us to go into the prime time. I love what Indie Vault does, but they get horrible numbers on the first watch live because we're going against primetime TV. The radio numbers are fantastic, but we don't necessarily want to go against primetime TV because that's family time. Let's be honest. For a lot of families, that's family time. And we're mindful of the fact that a lot of schools are going back. In August in Florida, they're still planning to have schools. I think we're, 3 weeks away from the first day of school right now. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to be mindful of everyone. We're trying to do that. And like Meredith said, this is the Comic NEWB. I don't expect this show to continue to be the Comic NEWB for much longer. Meredith will have to change the name of the show. That's evolution. And that's all the Advocating Network is. We evolve, we adapt, and so we don't die, because that's the industry.
She's certainly not as noob as she was 3 months ago.
No, and that's the point. Like, she has learned in her journey. And I want everyone, and I stress this, and I've said this once before on a live thing, and I'm going to say it again. The Comics NEWB is a gimmick, like she said. It is not what represents her. She is not a noob in any way, shape, or form. She took on that persona to entertain you guys. A couple times I've seen some comments of people, don't disrespect her position. She's in TERRAFORM Comics because she is a sharp person who's amazing. And recently, she became head of our basic. What's the you're like our social media czar now. You are the person who handles all the heavy lifting in the background, and you somehow have made us relevant on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. So there's nothing noob about that job. And I want to thank you publicly, because a lot of times behind the scenes, we're thanking you, but we don't get to do it publicly. And it's not because we don't want to. It's just because, we get on these videos. We have 1 hour. Come on, guys, cycle through. I mean, we didn't talk about the fact I'm on Kickstarter right now. We didn't run the ad. We said we were going to run an ad. But you have all these problems where you can't get Ben, and you're trying to get Ben, and you're trying to get people into a conversation. You can see people can't hear each other. So we're going to get off at 4 p.m. and hope, because, I mean, I see that it's a little dark where she is right now, Meredith. Luke, I think I saw dark and then light throughout the show today. So it looks
yeah, but it's mostly clear. It's just these huge banks of clouds coming through, but they're all
you'll be getting my storms in a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to storm later.
Off in the east right now, looks like they're getting kind of green, and when it turns green and the wind starts blowing, then I know that it's going to start blowing through pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, but I just wanted to jump in here really quickly. There are a lot of times when people, it takes a lifetime to figure out what they're good at and what they love to do. And this journey has brought me to kind of bear what I love and what I'm good at, and it's kind of merging into one place, and that is this realm with you guys, where it's creators. I'm surrounded by writers, I'm surrounded by artists and creative minds. Whether it's whether we're getting in front of the camera and podcasting and stuff. Podcasting is not my first love. Live streaming is not my first love. Creating, writing, that is where I'm at. But if that's how I'm going to reach all of you guys, and if and in the meantime, if I'm in the background and I'm uplifting you guys, whether it's Terraform Comics, Geek Insider, WildOne Forever, all of these other things that I'm doing, as well as trying to build up my own website and my own portfolio of things, my passion is basically social media. And where are you? There you go. Mwah. There. Love. That is what I want to do. That is what I'm good at, and I embrace that fully. So if it means that I'm in the background and I'm building up Terraform Comics, all of the social media, whether it's trying to get you guys to join the newsletter is like pulling teeth out of a chicken. And if you have ever seen chickens, they don't have teeth. Okay, it's nearly impossible. Sign up for the damn newsletter. It's not that hard, guys. Show your support. It doesn't have to be just Terraform Comics. It's all of you guys, everybody. If you're watching, if you're enjoying any of it, even if there's a little bit of controversy, hit the like button, share it out with your friends. That's how we grow. That's how we network. And everybody kind of, Rob's network is finding Geek Insider. Geek Insider is finding Comic Book Advocates. All of us are trying to it's like, hey, Indie Vault is like the unsung hero with IndieVent. With their global audience and things like that. These are all things, I mean, don't assume that you know people, until you follow them and see what they're putting out there and seeing how they interact with their people. It's gold when you do that. And I just wanted to give a shout out to JD Calderon. He's New Jersey. I don't know how to say his name. But I'm going to be on his show at 7 o'clock today. And then tonight, Terraform Comics, we're going to have a couple of representatives from Terraform Comics up on Demon Phil's show at 10 o'clock this evening, Eastern time. So I really hope, I don't know how I got on this circuit, but today is just like, wow, like how did that happen? And I guess I just kind of snuck in a few things when I was busy doing other stuff. So it's just like, yeah, say yes wherever you can, and try not to step on any toes and things like that. As for the Comic NEWB, I think I'm kind of settling on the idea of doing a Monday show. I don't expect a huge live audience. I really don't. And it's not about ego. I just want to put content out there that's decent. The replay is going to be there, so it's not a big deal to me. And I just haven't decided on whether or not I wanted to do like a 7, 8, or 9 o'clock. So I'll probably put a poll out there. Wherever you guys are, let me know when a good time is for you. When do you think you're going to tune in? Not that, you're not signing your name in blood or anything like that, but I'm making myself available. And it's something that I'd really like to do and try and stay consistent, because quite honestly, between the Comic NEWB, the Geek Insider podcast, WildOne Forever podcast, the Morning Nosh, and things like that, I'm on the podcast or live stream or iHeartRadio enough.
Yeah, I'll say this. You're on there a lot. And here's the thing. You do so much for TERRAFORM Comics. Rob, I appreciate that, we do need to, really let's thank the people that are doing some work. And quite honestly, we wouldn't be where we are right now without your work, Meredith. And so it's very vital of what you're doing. And so I can't wait until we're promoting your book, which I've read the script, at least the first draft, the prose of it. I can't wait till we are actually putting that book together. I'm excited about it. But we have so many exciting announcements that's coming up. And each one of these creators that's coming in, you are going to make the world know who they are. The world knows who they are a bit, but you're going to make our greater world know who they are. And as great as it is that you're on all of these shows, I'm a little selfish because I'm like, I like that she's doing work with TERRAFORM. It's like all these other shows, like, lay off. She's our Meredith. That's kind of how I feel, but I'm really grateful for the work that you're doing and the views that we're getting and all of those kind of things. And I'm grateful for Rob and the work that he's doing. He's like, Mr. Let's have meetings and do this and that. Cause I'm a really creative type. I'm an artist. So I get these big ideas where I want to see everything go, and kind of like, even now I've been drawing. So I'm seeing all that kind of stuff. But it's, I'm like, I don't want a meeting. I want to draw. I want to write. I want to do things like that. And so having you guys in that TERRAFORM corner, it just changes everything. It gives it gives everyone an opportunity to really work their strengths, but also be creative and have their fingers in that too. And so it's just so much, I'm just so grateful for you guys, for Varian. Varian is the guy that's been with a lot of these new guys. We've got at least two new people that he's talking to this week about coming into the TERRAFORM family. And he's kind of starting those conversations. Both of them I'm excited about. One of them I'm very excited about. And then we've got, Brian with editing and Eric is, with the art directing. So kind of looking at those things and going over those going over things with a fine tooth comb. And I do have to warn people in this new process that we've got for intake, when Rob starts doing his research on you, you better not have any bad stuff back there.
And I just want to cut in here really quickly. I got a message from Demon Phil that we are going to have to postpone probably about 2 weeks out, because he's doing some moving stuff, and just everything over there is kind of like not a shitstorm, but he's trying to get his stuff in order as well. And I'm okay with that, if you guys are okay with that, because
fine with that.
Our evening, and gives Phil a chance to kind of reorganizing, because that seems to be, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just feels like the season of change right now. We're mutating into something new and different, and that's exciting to me. So Phil, not a problem. We will definitely reschedule, and that gives me a night off. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, don't you have the other show still?
I have the 7 o'clock with JD.
Yeah, but it's that time of year. Usually we're on vacation. Usually Indie Advocates, when we're Indie Advocates, we go on vacation this part of the summer. It's slower. We would come back to do the quick stuff for our Kickstarter conversation. That was it. Like, the news is usually slower. It's weird because the pandemic's throwing everything off and things are crazy. They just are.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we just Travis and I just launched that Kickstarter for Voodoo Nations, and so that's not a TERRAFORM thing. So like today, I have to like write down, like, I don't know what this meeting's for. Like, we've got so many different like videos. Like, I've got one tonight at 9. I'm like, I don't know what's this one for. And so my wife's trying to help me keep track. Like, oh, well, this one's the Advocator, this one's Terraform, this one's Voodoo Nations, you know. And so it takes, you know, you've got to. And Rob, you're right. This would normally just be a kind of an off season, you know, kind of almost downtime until the fall. But it's not right now. We're just so busy with things.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. And
that Scarlet Trace, yeah, we've got the script for Scarlet Trace. So we're going to start working on that one. That one's cool.
All right, guys, we do have to wrap it up.
The Instagram really quickly. You know, we're up to, hold on a second. Let me get back over here. We're up to 91 followers, guys. That's
pretty
not bad.
good.
And then on Twitter, we're up to 130 followers.
Nice.
You know, so we're actively following people. We're following back, especially people who are in the comic book industry. You know, and a lot of people, I think they're saying, oh, you know, I mean, I don't feel like we're competing against anybody. So I don't feel bad about connecting with anybody, you know. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
No, we're not in competition.
Yeah, we're not competing. But Rob, go ahead. You wanted to let's close this thing out because we've got Travis in the background. He's been really patient, and you know, again, I just wanted to shout out. This is the last episode of the Comic Noob on Friday. We are going to be moving to Monday. Tune in. I'll have some announcements over the weekend.
All right, guys. Well, it's the Comics Noob, so go ahead and take us out. Everyone's heard from me and Luke at this point. I think we're ready to go.
Well, I think we've got some banners in the background. I'm not going to play my outro because I don't have one. But Rob, you do. You have Be a Pair. Let's do that.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for the 4 p.m. advocating hour through this pandemic. Stay tuned for all the new stuff we have coming out for you.
Be a pair. Be professional. Be ethical. Be authentic. Be respectful. Remember, in this industry for comics, be a pair. Art provided by Chris Mad. Look up Chris Mad Art on Facebook today.